Hello everyone, this is James Shore with another test-driven JavaScript video. I'm recording this on September 17th, 2012, picking up right where we left off in the last episode when we were trying to parse the Procfile. The Procfile, of course, being the file that tells our server how to run, that will be used by Heroku in production to actually determine how to start the server. And there's a tool called Foreman which you can use in development, but it doesn't work great for us, as I explained. And the reason I explained all the reasons in the last episode. I'm not going to go over them again. So we are writing our own miniature Procfile parser, and just the simplest possible thing, and trying to sort of extract out that command line. And it's not working, I don't think. If we look at our matches here, it's matching. So the output is an array which has everything that matches the first item, which in our case is everything, and then one item for each capturing parentheses. And the capturing parentheses are not coming out the way I would have hoped. And that is probably because, I'm not skipping white space. Let's try that. It's not quite working. Often when you're dealing with regexes, it's easier to do it in multiple steps. So instead of trying to capture everything in a fancy way like this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for the word web followed by any amount of white space, and then I'm just going to capture everything from there to the end. It's complaining. Oh, that's interesting. Lint is complaining that our regex is insecure. Wow. It's not really something I'm concerned about in this case. We are running stuff. We are running the command line. So let's look at JS hint and turn that option off. And there, now that's working. And what does it match? Nothing. Regexes. So now it's returning null, which means that it's not matching anything at all. How is that possible? I don't know. Okay, I'm back. As usual, this was a dumb little problem. Procfile has, of course, a line feed at the end. A simpler way of dealing with this would be to just trim it. That way we deal with anything at the front and the back. And this should pull out everything after the word web. And we run that, and we see that it does. It matches the whole thing, and then here's just the command line. So that's good. So now what we need to do is we need to split that apart into its component pieces, and the split method will do that for us. I just want to double check how that works. Yeah, we give it the separator. I mean, this is a pretty cheesy little bit of code we're writing here, and it won't hold up to anything substantial, but it should be good enough for our purposes here. So because we do have control over the Procfile, so we can just not put anything in the Procfile that will break this. Why did that fail? What's happening here is split is a string method, and foo is not a string. That was my mistake. Foo, which is just something I did and tried to debug this, matches, which is what we matched, is an array. The command line is actually this. And if matches is null, then we need to throw an exception saying could not parse Procfile. So the command line we can split, and we can log that, and that should work. Man, this has taken way more time than I thought it should. And that will match on, it matches our white space as well, but that's okay. So now what we need to do is filter out the good ones. We'll pull this into args, we'll call that command line dot split, split on all of our white space. And again, this is very simplistic. It's not meant to be production quality. It's not meant to be generic. It's just meant to parse the exact thing we have. And now what we want to do is we want to filter this, which means that So that takes the element. So we'll check the element to make sure that it is not empty. Okay, so this is a bit tricky. This is more functional programming for those of you who aren't familiar with it. We could just loop through the array. We could do for I equals 0, blah, blah, blah. But instead what I'm doing here is I'm saying take this array of arguments and filter out everything that isn't blank and return that. And let's see if that works. I hope it does. So this will basically has a little for loop under the covers. This is if you're familiar with this style of programming, it's a little more readable. So yeah, that pulls out all of our empty arguments which are left. So here, beforehand, we have a blank node, source, server, blah, blah, blah. Afterwards, we just have that. And then the other thing we need to do is we need to convert the $port into 5,000. And let's see if I did that right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And that should now work. Yeah. Okay, let's return this. But there we go. That works. Okay, so next time I'll go through exactly how this works, and we will finally, I think, get this on Heroku. Thanks for watching, everybody. I will catch you next time.